Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bernadine and welcome to my craft room. This is where I do all my painting, jewellery making, macrame making, and there's some examples of that hanging behind me at the moment. You can see my boxes of ready racks or Dexian racking of boxes of different stones and findings. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you making an adjustable wire wrapped ring. Now, I will just show a couple of stages of this because it's a repetitive pattern that I'm going to make up basically as they're going on. Right, let me swap videos and put you on the other camera. Right, this is my workspace. I've already cut 3 pieces of 0.8mm rose gold colour copper wire, and I'm going to use 0.4mm to wrap around these base strands. Here I have some lavender jade that I will be putting on at the end. Right, so we start by taking one of the base wires and about 4 centimetres up roughly. Remember, we're only going to be making a band for around that sort of area. It'll be at the back because your stones will be at the front there. So that's why I'm going to leave about 4 centimetres. And I'm just going to wrap this about 5 times just to secure it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very closely to each other. Okay, I'm now going to bring in the second strand of the base wire and start doing a pattern. So I think I'll go 1, 2 over both wires. Then I'm going to come up through the middle of the 2 wires. Take note how I push them all down together. Pick up the last wire. There we go. And then I'm going to take my wrapping wire over the top 2. Here, over the top 2. Then the wire comes down all the way to the back, up the front, and just over the bottom 2 wires. And then we'll wrap another 2 times. 1, 2. I want to get it close together as possible so it looks really nice and wrapped. I'm going to try and lift that up. I think it gets blurrier the nearer it is. I've had to put light on because it started raining. Right, so I've done the bottom 2. So now I'm going to bring up the wrapping wire in the middle, just above wires 1 and 2 from the bottom, and wrap twice over the top 2. Then back down the back, and again into here. This I will keep doing until I feel I've reached, normally I do this about 18 repetitions of the top and the bottom. So 1, 2, this is number 3 that I'm working on, so I'll have 3 bottoms and 3 tops. 1, 2. So I'll come back to you once I have finished wrapping along. Welcome back. I've finished the wrapping. I've actually done 19 repetitions in total. You might note this is still attached to my reel, so I'm now going to chop it off. I always work from the reel if I can with wrapping wire because it saves wastage. So let me just move that to one side. What I'm going to do is just, I can feel the sharp end just there. Just flatten that down for the moment, that's fine. And then the other end where I started, I need to trim that off as well. But I want to make sure I trim it off at the back. There we go. And then again, that now feels lovely and smooth. Right, I have my mandrel here. which I'm not really using to size. I'm just using to, yeah, that looks good. It's fitting around the back. That's the sort of sizing that I want. Okay, stay there, boy. Right, I have some lavender jade here. The 10mm, I think, is going to be a bit too big, so I'm going to put that to one side. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use an 8mm, so it's probably an 8 on one side and one, maybe 2 6s on the other side. I haven't really decided. This is what I mean by I make it up as I go along. Okay, so each side comprises of 3 strands, roughly the same length. I'm just going to part them a little bit. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I don't like everything matching as such. I'm going to put this on either what you want to call the top or the bottom of these 3 wires. I'm going to place it as near to the end of the wire as I can. I can feel that just coming through. And then I'm going to manipulate the wire around it. And then I'm going to wrap that within that wire. Now, if I turn that around now, you may be able to see just on that wire, it's coming round. There we go. I'll turn him so he's sitting upwards. Okay, that's one side of that done. On the bottom wire, I'm going to turn a circle. So using my very small, they're very small and fine here, round nose pliers, I'm just going to make a turn and a half roughly, just start a circle off. And then I'll take my nylon jaw pliers. Well, these I think need some more jaws on them. So I'm using these because they don't scratch the wire, unlike chain nose pliers might, particularly those with teeth. They'll take the plating off. And I'm gently manoeuvring the wire around using my fingers and the pliers into making a circle. I might make a circle with the 3rd wire in the middle. I haven't decided yet. As I said, it's make it up as you go along with me. I do like this jade. I love jade anyway. I love most semi-precious stones. Rose quartz sings to me most of all. Probably because I like pink, believe it or not. I'm going to leave that one on that side for the moment. I'm going to move to the other side. This is going to be a bit more difficult using these 6mm stones, because twisting them can be a lot more awkward. So let me just put them down next. And then I have another one. The shades are beautiful, but this is where you don't have to, I may not wrap it round. Right, I'm going to go for the opposite side, i.e. the bottom to the top of that one. I'm going to put him on down there though. But to hold him in place, I'm going to have to do something of some description. So I'm going to bend the wire over. And I'm actually going to fold it down around that way instead. So instead of wrapping it down, I've moved it right down to the very end and I'm wrapping him there. And that will hold that in place. And I'm going to trim that off now with my flush cutters. Yes. If you use your flush cutters in a diagonal cut, it leaves a flush end, a flat end. It can be, you can use some sandpaper on it. Well, I have these smoothing blocks that I use just to get a nice little finish off. But that will hold that there. So that was a different way of affixing that stone in. Now, let's put that around my mandrel, see what he's looking like at the moment. He's looking good. He is looking brilliant. I am going to put another, let's put another big stone on that stalk that I left empty. He'll have to be rescued later from my floor. Yeah, I'm going to have him in there, definitely. Right, let's move that back out there. I'm just going to cut a bit of the wire off this side. I'll try not to waste an awful lot. I do end up wasting a little bit, which is unfortunate. If I'm working, well, when I'm working with sterling silver, I save all my pieces because they can be reused. I send them back to my supplier and get a credit. They melt them down and reuse them again. So now I've finished one side of it. The other side, I think I'm going to go really fancy on this. Put those on there. I am going to put another couple of the wee ones on, and I'm going to maneuver them down like I did earlier. So let's cut a little bit off. And push him down. So now I'm going to, what I'll try, I am going to try manoeuvring it round, but you can see because the stone is so much smaller. There we go. But I've got a long end there now, which I will have to cut. I'll just call it glimmer then, which I will have to trim. But I want to just get it manoeuvring round. Right, now's a good time to cut it. Always invest in really good flush cutters. Right, that's gonna have to move that around a bit more. Cheap ones just don't cut properly. You'll end up with them damaging your work. You're better off buying the most expensive, reputable brand of flush cutters that you can. So he's come out okay, hasn't he? So we'll do one more of my little 6mm. I didn't have to add any gemstones at all. I could have repeated the pattern a few more times, well, quite a few more times, and just done a wiring. I finished it just with swirls and a few little twists and turns, made it just very ornate wire wise. I like to put in the stones. They give that little bit extra, I think, to the finished product. And so you can see how I'm getting a nice sweeping effect coming up here now. Like that, I'm going to have to cut a wee bit more off. See how I cut an angle? And by holding it, it's not pinging off and hitting anyone in the face. Not that I've got anyone sitting opposite me, but also yourself if you're not wearing eye protection, which I'm wearing glasses, which you could class as eye protection. All right, this one's turning a lot better than the last one did. I think the light might make this video a bit blurry, so my apologies for that. There we go. So we've got a nice little piece in there. Put him back on the mandrel. Pull round. There we go. What do we think of him then? So he's finished. I'm going to move that. A little bit of manipulation going on here, just right. So now it will fit that finger, so you can move the stones around. It will fit this finger as well because it will widen out. This is why I don't join them in the middle. My eternity ring. Don't think he's even going over my great big bulge there that I've got. So it accommodates for people's fingers, both big and small, on what wire wrapped ring. Thank you.